All right, Giants fans, let's talk about it. Giants are going to fall to 2-8 on the season after losing to the Dallas Cowboys 49-17 in Arlington. Giants currently hold the second overall pick in this year's draft, thanks to the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray sealing a W against the Atlanta Falcons. Now, going into this game, my expectations were fairly low. If you didn't watch our video last night with TMS and CPNY Sports Network, absolutely go check that out. But my expectations were fairly low going into this game. And man, could they have not been any lower? The Giants, I thought going into this game, this is going to be Tommy DeVito's first start. In every way possible, Dallas was the better team. Even on their worst day, they are the better team than the New York Giants. Coming off an embarrassing loss against the Las Vegas Raiders, I at least wanted to see this team play with some fight. I wanted to see this team at least look like a respectable NFL team out there. And they're without a doubt the worst team in the NFL right now. Without a doubt. And I truly believe that they would give the Carolina Panthers a run for their money. And I'm just trying to be unbiased here. There were some coaching decisions that really had me scratching my head today, and I had Giants Twitter livid, so I know I wasn't alone there. Offensive line giving up, I believe, 5 sacks or 6 sacks. I believe it was five today. Giving up 5 sacks. Run game, we really couldn't get anything going outside of a couple runs here by Saquon. But what more could you really expect? When you look at the spread, what more could you really expect? And you have to tip your hat to Dallas. 640 total yards. That's a lot. They had their way today against the New York Giants, and you got to tip your hat to them. I thought this defense, the first couple drives, this was going to be maybe a little bit of a closer game if the offense can put some drives together. We saw in the first drive, the defense held their own in the red zone, got Dallas off of the field. Offense immediately punts the ball. We saw a second drive stall by the Dallas Cowboys. Offense gets on the field, punts the ball. And it doesn't matter really who's at quarterback, whether it's Daniel Jones, whether it's Tyrod Taylor, whether it's Tommy DeVito. It doesn't matter. This offense is not an operating offense right now. It is an abysmal offense. It is a very predictable offense. There was times where I was calling out what they were going to do as the game was playing, and they did it. So it's just it sucks. It sucks because there was a lot of expectations going into this year. Obviously, with Jones being out and all the injuries and these losses stacking up, those expectations start to go down. But I at least wanted to see this team be competitive. And that's something that we did not see from this New York Giants team today. Now, I will say this much, shout out Cordell Flott. He got his first interception, looked really solid. He had some other moments as well where he looked abysmal. So I'm not going to get too hard on him, but I do believe that he needs more reps in. We've seen enough from Darnay Holmes, who also had an interception in garbage time down 42-7. But I want to see more of Cordell Flott. I think the Darnay Holmes story, I'm done with it. I'm good. We need to see more of them out there. Now, in my honest opinion, this secondary was really, really tested today. And I think all of us can agree with that. They were really tested today. Dak Prescott, Brandon Cooks, and CeeDee Lamb had their way with this secondary today, and they made it look effortless. They made it look effortless. And Wink has yet to get a sack in his 2 seasons against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, look, the run defense, we could get on that. The run defense didn't look good today. Hasn't really looked good in recent weeks, even before Leonard Williams got traded. I thought, in my honest opinion, CeeDee Lamb, again, he had another impressive performance. I believe he had 151 yards or 150 yards today. Brandon Cooks had himself a monstrous day today. Cooked up, didn't matter who was on him. Cooks really cooked up whoever was going to be facing him on the other side, whether that was Banks, whether that was Flott, whether that was Darnay Holmes, it didn't matter. It did not matter. The Dallas offense had their way with this Giants defense. And at the end of the day, they were the better team, and they should have. They should have. And that's the point I want to get across. Even if Daniel Jones is in this lineup, the Dallas Cowboys are still a better team than the New York Giants. And I hate to say that because obviously the Dallas Cowboys have owned the New York Giants in the last 6 years. last year there was some moments where you thought to yourself, okay, if we can improve here, if we can improve here, we could probably, compete with Dallas next year, at least make the gap a little bit closer. But the gap is wider than ever right now currently. And again, you have to tip your tap. You have to tip your cap to the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Brian Dable, I'm sure will receive a lot of scrutiny today for his for a couple of his decisions and coaching decisions that he made as well. To me, I didn't think it made any sense putting Andrew Thomas back out there, considering the fact that he's coming off of a hamstring injury. Last week I thought he looked solid, but he still didn't look 100%. You could obviously say, because he hasn't played 6 week one, he has to knock the rust off. Absolutely, I hear you, I agree. But at the same time, in a meaningless game, in a meaningless season, after it looked, I thought it was going to be a serious injury after Mozzie Smith tackled Saquon into Andrew Thomas. I thought it was going to be, a serious injury. And it just, in my mind, I get that he's a competitor. This is a competitive sport, but it did not make sense in my mind for Andrew Thomas to go back on the field. I am in the camp that he should have been bubble wrapped and just put away until 2024. Let the kid get healthy. I mean, it's just Brian Dable and some of his coaching decisions this year have been very, very, very questionable. I'm not going to get on too much on the injuries because some of them have been freak accidents. I'm not going to get on him there, but I am going to get on him for how he handles these injuries. I get that these players want to compete and that they want to play, and they're going to tell you that they can do it and that they're okay. But as a coach, sometimes you have to make those hard decisions for those players and sit those players for the betterment of their health. And God forbid something would have happened to Andrew Thomas again. Man, I don't even want to know how the New York media would have responded to Brian Dable after the game. But luckily, Andrew Thomas, he looked okay after coming back in the game. We did see some injuries for the New York Giants. I have here Deontay Banks with an ankle, Kayvon with a concussion, Cordell Flott with the shoulder, Jalen Hyatt, we'll see, but he did go into the tent. Just not a good game by the Giants today. Hasn't been a good game. This has been a horrible season for the New York Giants, an absolute nightmare of all proportions. And it's going to be an interesting, couple stretch here, a couple games here down this stretch to see how this New York Giants team plays. You have the Patriots coming up. You have Washington. You have the Saints. You have Green Bay. There's not a lot of good teams left on your schedule. And it's going to be very interesting to see how this team plays. Currently sitting at the second overall pick. It's going to be hard. It's going to be very frustrating for Giants Nation to watch these games. I completely understand that a lot of fans are kind of tuned out and focused on to next year. I'm focused on to next year for sure, but I'm gonna still enjoy every game that I can this year, week in and week out, regardless of how horrible the Giants are and how horrible of a performance they put out there. Now, again, you got to tip your cap to Dallas. This wasn't a good game by the Giants, but there really wasn't more that you could expect from this Giants team. Gotta hope that they can fix a couple things and at least try to bounce back against the Patriots. Probably wouldn't be smart for them to win that game either, as obviously the Patriots are trying to tank, holding the fourth overall pick currently. So yeah, it's not good. It's not looking good. It is not looking good whatsoever, Giants fans. But we'll be all right. We'll be all right. Take it 1 week at a time. Because again, really the only bright spot slash silver lining to this year is that if the Giants keep on the pace that they're going, they're either going to land Caleb Williams or Drake May, and that you'll know you have your quarterback for the next decade. So let us know your thoughts below. I really want to hear what you guys have to say. Again, not looking good for this New York Giants team. You saw some of the frustration on the sideline with Darius Slayton getting heated with Sterling Shepard, getting heated with Coach Groh, the wide receiver coach, Dable having to calm him down. Maybe that kind of echoes what Xavier McKinney was talking about with some of the veterans feeling like they weren't being heard by the coaching staff. I'm not too sure. I don't think we'll really know the truth unless something gets leaked. But again, 1 week at a time, Giants fans. And yeah, let us know your thoughts below. And we'll see you guys on the next video.